Hello again, welcome back to Asgard and welcome back to FTB Interactions. So, since last episode, I did make a couple more caches, got these set up, enchanted and all that jazz. And I've also been prepping some stuff. You can see lots of pipe related things, logic pipes. I have crafted a few Mark 5s and we're going to be using these today. I got 4 Mark 5s and I've got 2 still as Mark 4s. We're going to be using those today a little bit later on for something that I have in mind. What we're going to do, we're going to kick off with auto crafting. And I may be cutting a little bit today to do some reorganizing. It might take me a little bit because I want to get some of this room reorganized for kind of automation kind of setup. And let me go ahead and throw those advanced chips into there, get those running. But what we're going to be doing is a bit of automation. Now before we get started, there's a few things that we're going to want to craft. Let me grab out our programmer. And there's a couple things that we're going to need for our satellite pipes. We're going to need satellite logistics pipes. Okay, I had a spot of lag, but it seems to be gone after restarting or relogging in. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and flash this real quick. And let's go ahead and get ourselves satellite logistics pipes. And, well, we've only got enough for 4 of these, but I do have the materials that we need for crafting out a bit more of this. I'm going to go ahead and just get a full 18 of those. And we've got 4 satellite pipes. That'll be good for right now. And then I'm going to want result pipes. So these right here. Let's go ahead and get 4 of these. Oh, that is really, really weird. Okay, so normally this would require result logistics pipe programmer, but I'm ordering it with satellite logistics programmers and it's working just fine. I have to go grab some more redstone, but that's fine. I've got some more made up, so go ahead and grab that. Yeah, that's making result pipes. How strange. I had not noticed that. Yeah, let me grab. You can see lots of cinnabar and rare earth. Noticing I am getting a little bit of lag tonight. But then I'm also going to need crafting managers. So let's go ahead. Let me just grab, I'm curious if this is going to work. Yeah, I can get crafting managers. So apparently the logic programmer will still craft, even if you don't have the correct one. It won't let me, order stuff with that recipe because it's like I don't have the correct logic programmer, but it allows me to craft it still, at least through here. That is curious. Okay, so we got that. Now what I want to do, let me go ahead and grab these and these. And these, and that should be good for right now. And what we're going to do, I'm going to start setting up automation, and we're going to be doing this, I think, over on this wall for our automation setup, and this room may see a little bit of a shift. And let me grab our wire mill. This is going to be the first thing that I want to automate because we just use this thing so much, and it's actually nightmarish. Manually crafting a lot of this stuff for logistics pipes, it is a nightmare, and I want to go ahead and get to automating that. So what we're going to do, we are going to set up, let me grab some blue steel cable real quick. Let's see, because we're going to need 2 pipes, 2 pipe connecting points, and we're also going to need our blue steel cable connecting point. Thinking we're going to shift all this forward by 1, and we're going to have our cable lines, or do we want to just set this up in a new room? Let's just set this up in a new room because this is going to get messy. We'll set it up over here. Yeah, let's do that. That way I kind of can work with a clean slate, and then we'll just adjust things, and that way I don't have to tear anything down right now. But we're going to say that, yeah, we're going to go there and there for our automation, I think. And we're just going to run our blue steel cable over, and then like that. yeah, I think this will be good. And then what we'll do is we'll just put our blue steel cable like that. And for right now, I'm going to steal these basic steam turbines, because everything's about to be getting rearranged as we push forward. Everything will be getting rearranged. And what I may do is just leave our LV setup long term, because the way that we're going to be running things, it's not going to matter. And that way I can have the LV stuff producing things like copper wire, you know, stuff that you'd be making in the LV age. But then we have our higher tier machines that are making other things. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Yeah, I am getting a little bit of a latency hit, I think, tonight. But... okay, yeah, my internet went out. So it seems to be an issue with the internet acting up today. So anyways, we're going to run some steam turbines. Later on, I may upgrade this to more power, because if all these machines are running, it's going to be a little bit iffy as far as power goes. Or just give it some good energy storage for kind of when it needs to craft, it has the energy to do so. But we'll get over to that. And then what I want to do, let's go ahead and set up... now let me pull these off. We're going to go ahead and break open this. And I want to go ahead and put in... oops. No, actually, I'll tell you what. Let's not do that. We're going to have our machines... we'll set up our very first wire mill setting here. So that's where it's going to be setting. And then we're going to go ahead and just rip off... we're going to pull off right there, because we've already got a basic logistics pipe in that spot. So there'll be a pipeline that comes out there. There'll also be a pipeline that comes out here, and a pipeline that comes out here. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. And then I'm going to go ahead and fix this floor, because I think I'd rather have this than any machine setting kind of ground level. I think I'd rather have this. And then let me go ahead and back here, let me pull off that. Just open that up for just a minute. We're going to go out there here in just a little bit. I'm going to be setting up some more steam setups here soon also. I'll probably do it off camera, but I'm going to start setting those up. Now these are Mark 1s. I did change these over to Mark 1s from our Mark 2s, and that's what I used to upgrade to our Mark 4s and 5s that we've got right now. But what I want to do is we're going to run out a pipeline, and this is going to be... I'm going to go ahead and use basic pipes for pretty much all of this. I will run an unrouted that goes through the wall there, and there. And then right here, this is all going to be basic pipes. Like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and run out another line of basic pipes, because there's going to be a lot going on back here. So, alright, and then we're going to put a well, actually, let me go grab my wrench real quick. Well, actually, the back side is the... yeah, that'll be fine, because we're not pumping anything into the back. So no, we'll just leave that alone, actually. And what we're going to do, we're going to have a... let's see, we got our satellite pipes, we've got our result logistics pipes. Our result pipes are going to go here, and then we're just going to run it down like so. And then our satellite pipes are going to go here, and they're going to come down like so. And we're going to go ahead, let's grab our crescent hammer, and we're going to set the satellite name for this, and this is going to be wire mill wires LV. Okay, that's what we're going to set the name to, because this is an LV wire mill that's going to be specialized in making wires. And then we're going to do our result logistics pipe, and we're going to call this LV wire mill plus something. We'll adjust the name. Well, we'll say LV wire mill plus metal bend, and we'll save that. Okay, we'll put a metal bender down there. I'll go ahead and grab it just so that we've already got it, and we'll set that up right there, and we'll put in our program circuit. Okay, so now that we've got that, what I want to do is I want to set up our very first crafting manager. We're going to have a few of these guys. It doesn't really matter too much where we put them, but I would like to have them somewhere accessible, ideally. And so I think what we're going to do is I'll keep them in the same room where they're at. And we're going to say that, and we'll have them come down right here. And that way they are accessible for us. And so there's our first one. And we can click on this, we can open it up. But I'm going to need like a little wall of these, basically. We're going to say that our first one, we've got our satellite logistics pipe and result logistics pipe. This first one, we're going to say that your satellite that you're connected to is wire mill wires LV. And we'll go ahead and select that. And then the result pipe that you're connected to is the LV wire mill plus metal bend setting. Okay. And then what we can do, let me grab my chisel. And I'm going to go ahead and let's just chisel all of these for right now. We're going to turn these into crafting modules. We'll need some other modules later today, but we're going to go ahead and start off with crafting modules. And if we just right click this, we can say that, let me grab a piece of copper. And we can say that if you input copper here, you're going to get 2 copper wires. And let's see, priority, yeah, we're going to leave all that as is. We don't need the satellite settings for anything just yet, and that's good. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll come back over, we'll open this crafting manager up, and we'll just drop that in to there. And if you hit shift, you can see that it can make wires. Now if I was to come over here and I look inside of our request table and I pull up copper wire, we've got 0, but you can see that we can request it. It does show up in here because that means we can order it, of course. I mean, we will order it, but right now we don't have power connected up to the system, and so I want to get that power set up first. So what we're going to do is, let me pull up, oh, but this doesn't have power now. That's fine. We're going to move it here in just a second, actually. Let me just pull up, well, let me go see, do I have advanced mechanical pipes? I have 4, and we'll facade this later on. That's not a problem. I'm going to need probably another 2 batches of pipes. But luckily I've already got the enriched alloy made. So I'm going to go ahead and get like 4 batches of pipes actually. Okay, so I'm making 32 of these. So there's that. Alright, so let me grab this back. And with our system, we're basically going to have specialized machines that do, basically do certain things. I do believe. I tend to find that works better. And I had tested around with logic pipes a while back and just found that sometimes, I mean generally they'll work fine if we have like fine wire and regular wire. Sometimes they seem to get a little bit confused, so if we have a wire mill set up to do copper, like copper wire, and then another one that does the fine wire, it just tends to work better. And we're at a point really where the machines aren't expensive to do that with, so... but we've got power running over here now. And so at this point, if I was to order copper wire, if we pull this up, I don't have any in the system, but if I was to order it, let me order 2. That'll be 1 ingot's worth. It should send it over there, and then we should get a couple pieces of copper that come in over here once it's done. There we go. Okay, so that's working. And basically what it's doing, that crafting manager is saying, okay, this is your satellite pipe, this is your result pipe. Result pipe pulls the finished product out of, you know, the machine or whatever the case may be, pulls the result recipe out of there. And the satellite pipe, of course, puts the items in. And this, we can now put 27 recipes, right? 27 recipes into this wire mill. Maybe a little bit overkill at this point, but it is fairly cheap to set up. and not very expensive. But as we progress, of course, we will need more and more wires. Now, out of curiosity, if we were to set this up, I want to see how well this will work. We might go ahead and just do a single wire mill, or do a single wire mill for right now. I don't know. We're going to say if you input a copper wire, you're going to get 4 fine copper wire. Come over here, drop that in, and then if we were to come over, let's pull up copper. We don't have any of either of these in here. Let me go ahead and order, say, 20 fine copper wire. Now, if we come back over here, we will say that this machine's getting items. It's getting that copper being fed into it. It's going to start crafting the copper wire. And looks like the copper wire is coming back in, but I want to make sure that we do get, you know, our 20 that we ordered. And you can see the items are starting to get zipped out from the request, or from the result pipe. They're getting pulled out and basically sent to this system. Now, I guess technically the items should have no issue traveling through each other, like the other result pipes. So let me just pull off that. Yeah, I guess we really don't need all this. I think it's overkill. In my head I was thinking, well, I'll put that there so we don't have to worry about it for right now. But I guess there's no purpose to it except for that one spot there. Okay, so there we go. And that is running through. And that seems to be fine using those pipes. Let me check over here. We did get 20 fine copper wire. And if we take a look in here, we have 1 leftover copper wire sitting there. It's not going to do anything with it. Yeah, we'll just run. We'll go ahead for right now. Long term, once we get to where we have, like, really, we need a lot of automation going on, we'll probably have dedicated wire mills. Maybe they aren't handling a whole lot of recipes, but that, you know, can craft a lot of things. But I think for this system right now, we can run the fine wire and the copper wire through on the same one. That's not really an issue for us. Alright, so the next thing, let's go ahead and automate another machine, which I'm going to continue adding things to that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to automate is our bending machine, which really, to do this, I'm going to need one of these logic pipes. Let me just, yeah, for right now, let me just replace this. And we're going to set this logic pipe up here. And then let me just run unrouted, which I guess, well, we'll get to that. This is probably just going to be unrouted, and I don't know what I was thinking when I was running pipes all back there. I have no clue. But let me grab out our crafting module, and we're going to make a recipe here that says if you take gold, you're going to get gold plate. There you go. And we're going to set up another crafting manager. This one's going to sit right here. And we're also going to name this satellite. This is going to be LV Bender Plates. And we're going to save that. And so if we come into here, we're going to say that you are connected to LV Bender Plates. And your result pipe is going to be the LV wire mill plus metal bender result pipe. And we're going to go ahead and just drop that in. So there's how to make gold plates. Next up, let's go ahead and set up bronze plates. So you input bronze, you get bronze plates. Okay, so now we can make gold, bronze, copper, tin, iron, red alloy plates at the click of a button. And let's say we want a stack of iron plates. Of course, we've got 57 already in the system, but if we order a stack, it's going to send the 57 that we already have. And if we come back over here, you will see that the metal bender is running right now, and it's making those iron plates for us. Sending them back over, the ones that we didn't have to fulfill what we requested, right? So it should get us up to 64, and then it'll stop, and it'll be done running, and we'll have exactly 64 plates. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so now what I want to do, let's go grab ourselves another machine here. This is going to be our Alloy Smelter let's go ahead and set up our alloy smelter up here next to our wire mill. And we're going to say that this satellite pipe is LV alloy base. We're going to call this LV alloy smelter. And then this is going to be LV alloy smelts plus, we'll say furnace, plus furnace. Okay. And what we're going to do for this alloy smelter, we're going to set up a few recipes here. We're going to say that if you take, we're going to put in a crafting manager here. This one, of course, is going to be connected up to the satellites that we just set up. So the alloy smelter and the alloy smelter plus furnace combo. So let's set it to 4. So if you send over 4 of that, and this is all going to make one red alloy, and then you send over a copper ingot, you're going to get red alloy ingots. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that in. That's pretty straightforward, right? Because that's about how the other recipes that we've done so far have been. Okay, now the next thing I want to do, let me grab this electric furnace. I'm going to steal that one. I'll replace it, but we're going to be doing a whole bit of ore processing automation and upgrades, and we probably won't keep a basic electric furnace for that. But we're going to go ahead and just set this up right there. And pull this up. Looks as though we are good. And what I want to do is we're going to set up another crafting manager right here, of course. And this one we're going to say, well, actually, let me set the satellite pipe. This goes to the LV furnace, and we'll save that. And we're going to say that your satellite pipe, you connect to the LV furnace, and then the result pipe, you connect to the LV wire mill, or the LV alloy smelt plus furnace. So there we go. We're going to set up a couple recipes. I did go ahead and I set up, there's how you make the gold wire and the fine gold wire. And what we're going to do, we're going to teach it how to make FPGA. So let's go ahead and set up a recipe and say that if you take 16 of that and you take that you're going to get how much raw FPGA? 8. Shift plus right click will double, and that's going to make 8 of it. So yeah, you kept the recipe good, and this is going to go into the alloy smelter set, which I may put some labels on this, but there's how you get the raw FPGA. And then this smelts 1-to-1, it does. Let me go ahead and just grab one of these. And if we were to order the FPGA now, just as an example, it's probably going to have to craft a few things. You can see some items popping around. We're going to add an upgrade to this here in just a minute, but that's going to go, well, that's coming out of the wire mill at the moment, and you can see that it's loading up that fine gold wire into here. And basically it's getting ready to craft. And this is one thing we're just about to cover here in just a second. But you can see it's getting those items together to craft our FPGA for us. But you'll notice whenever this happens, it ties up this alloy smelter for a minute while it's doing this. And there we go. Now it's going to start smelting that. Finally. Takes a little while using LV machines. Definitely does. But we're going to fix that problem. And there we go. It already pulled out one, but and then we're going to make a quick recipe and say that if you take raw FPGA and you smelt it, you're going to get FPGA. And we are going to add this into there. So there you go. There's how you make FPGA. Fully made FPGA. The only thing that we don't have running through this is the circuits. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do, I want to deal with our buffering problem. Because, of course, it's not super fast. Yeah, we'll just go with the gold chests, I suppose. Go ahead and grab those since I do have 4 of them just sitting here. What we're going to do is we're going to set up chests right next to our crafting managers. And then we are going to make, I don't think I have any upgrades left. No, I don't. Okay. I'm going to have to craft some upgrades. I think it's module, advanced chip, fine gold wire, and blank modules. Okay. And let me go ahead and order, say, 32 fine gold wire. Get that ordered. Let me get this. And to make the module, to make the blank modules, it's plastic and red alloy foil through an alloy smelter. So I may go ahead and just set up a recipe for that. So we'll say that if you take that and you take that, you're going to get that. Now right now I don't have plastic set up and red alloy and all that, but we're going to get to that. Because right now we're just getting our base system set up. So I'm going to throw that into there. Okay, so there's our module upgrades. And then I want to go ahead and just chisel these. And we are going to get crafting buffer upgrades. And we're just going to put these in there, 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 and there. Okay, so now if I was to come over and let's order ourselves, let's go ahead and order, say, give me 20 FPGA. Now before this took a while to craft and it was having to lock things up, but you can see what it's doing is it's sending the items into these buffers and it's storing them until it has everything that the machine requests to run. Now it will send the gold wire, it'll send that into a chest because it has to go there first before it can then be sent to the respective machines. So something like the wire mill, I don't necessarily have to have it, but it is nice as a buffer. So if you order a lot of wire at the same time, or wire of different types or something like that, it will buffer up inside that chest as well until it has enough for a single craft and there is space within the given machine. So I'm going to leave it on there. It's a little bit of extra travel, but it's not far because it basically comes into here and then comes over to there. I don't mind it too much. I do probably need to add, I don't know, either just speed or honestly having a place where these pipes connect over would be good, but it would look bad. So I don't know. We'll see. I might actually end up opening up that wall and just having it so that these pipes can connect to each other on this side instead of having to go all the way back over here each time to do stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. But you can see that it is smelting up FPGA, and once that finishes up, we should have 20. We'll probably have a few extra within the system because, of course, it makes 8 at a time. I don't remember how much FPGA that I had, but yeah, it dumped 4 raw FPGA back into here because we didn't need it, right? To fulfill that request. It was not required. So, okay, well that stuff is in place, which is great. Now the next thing that I want to do, I would like to go ahead and just get maybe the raw basic. Well, I'll get to that. I'm going to be automating a lot of this stuff. It's all pretty straightforward, just like I've shown you, and just expanding on that. So I'll be automating a few of these type things off camera. But before we run out of time, there is one other thing that I want to do this episode. This is just kind of getting our basics of auto crafting and stuff in place. And one thing I do want to look at when it comes to actually crafting recipe-based stuff, what does the crafter cost? MV machine halls. Okay, and then it's HV, and then it's EV. Ugh. Okay, what about just this one? That's a whole lot more affordable than going with the crafters. So we'll probably just do walls of logistics crafting tables for all of our crafting needs. Realistically, we don't do that many crafts through a table in this pack because you do so much through just GregTech machines. We might set up one of those this episode too. But what I want to do next, I'm going to need to make another modular storage up real quick. If I wanted to craft something that took 8 steel plates, like right now I don't have enough in here. I've only got, it says I've got 0. How do I have 0? I don't know. But let's go ahead. We'll click that, and what's going to happen is it's going to send it to the metal bender. Yeah, I had one in the system. I think it was just confused. But it's going to send some steel over to the metal bender, and you can see that it's running that to make our plates now. Now at the moment we're kind of having to make orders ahead of time because we're running on LV machines. They're not super fast. So that's what I want to kind of rectify today with our last little project, and the reason we're getting this modular storage. And this is where those chassis pipes that I talked about, getting yourselves some Mark 5s, super useful for this, at least in my opinion. Let me go ahead, let me get that. Let me go ahead and get our modular storage. And then I want this. Let me go ahead and just order that. And it's going to start making our plates for us. Well, it looks like we've already got them, but it would make them for us if we didn't already have them. As you can tell, life's starting to get a whole lot easier. Like a whole lot easier. And I just have to keep pushing our automation stuff and adding more machines and things and just automating bits and bobs as we go. And that way, whenever we push into MV, like we really push into MV, it's going to be a whole lot easier than pushing into LV was, and trying to push into MV at the moment is. What we're going to do, we're going to set up this modular storage right here. And we're going to put in a tier 2 storage module. 200 storage, not bad, and I think it'll be okay for us. And this is just basic logistics pipes. I did move our program compiler over here. I think I mentioned it, but I can't remember for sure. And what we're going to do, we're going to take and set up our chassis Mark 5 onto this. Bum, bum, bum. And the reason I want a chassis Mark 5 for this, if we take a look inside the chassis Mark 5, it can store, I believe it's 10, in this pack I believe it's 10 items. Yeah, it can store 10 items within the pipe here. And what we're going to do is, if we pull up that logic, well actually I don't even have to pull that up. Let me grab my chisel, and let me grab 10 of these guys. Actually, I think I have to clear them first. Quit giving me that book. What I want to do is I want to get 10 active supplier modules. Now right now I don't really need 10, but I want to go ahead and just slot in 10. They're getting pretty cheap to craft, so, and that's well, no. I want 9 active supplier modules, and I want 1 provider module. There we go. And what we're going to do, we're going to put in our provider module. It's standard. We're going to leave it. You can supply anything that's in here, yada yada. And then we're going to put in our 9 active supplier modules. Now what we're going to do, let's grab ourselves, let's grab a stack of FPGA. And then let's also grab, well, I don't have it on me, but let's go ahead and put on here active supplier module. We're going to click here, and we're going to leave it at bulk 50. I've found some issues testing with the provider modules where certain settings, because there's a few different settings. There's bulk 50, bulk 100, infinite, partial, full, and basically what all these settings do is it tells it when to request items and how to go about requesting items. So bulk 50 is basically going to look at 50%. So if it ever goes below 50% of the items to keep stocked, that's when it'll request items. Bulk 100 is if it runs out of the item that you're telling it to keep stocked, it's going to build back up to that amount. Infinite just means it's going to keep crafting it until it can't craft it anymore. Partial means it's going to craft it as soon as it goes down, but I have found that to be kind of bugged, and it tends to behave, in my experience, just like bulk 50. And then full, full means that it's going to wait to craft any items until it can craft all the items that it needs at once, like it has the materials, and then it's going to send off to have those items crafted. Also found that one to be kind of bugged, and it tends to behave just like bulk 50 in my experience. So we're just going to go with bulk 50. And we're going to say keep 64 FPGA. Keep you know what? Keep a stack of fine gold wire. And what's going to happen is you're going to notice this modular storage is starting to get some of those materials. It looks like it may be crafting FPGA, or at least smelting some. Yeah, and you can see it's crafting fine gold wire now on its own. It's just kind of doing its own thing at the moment. We take a look here. It's trying to craft more FPGA for us because I took so much out of it that it doesn't have the stack that it needs to do that. Now, if I was to throw this back into here and throw this fine gold wire in, let me give it just a second. Well, actually, I don't think it's going to pull from that because, yeah, it's stored in these, and this is actively requesting. Now, it's not going to send items into it, and it's just going to craft new ones. So if it has a stack of FPGA in here, and I pull out a stack of FPGA, at that point, it's going to request a stack of FPGA. It's going to try to craft it for us if it ever goes below that 50% mark. But you can see it's starting to stock that fine gold wire, that FPGA up, and it's just requesting whatever it needs to do that. Now, since we're not using this as, I mean, you could put in a, you know, some kind of input module, and if you did that, it would, and that might be something that we could do. If we were to take this and we said we want a polymorphic item sync. Yeah, let's do that actually. Let's do a polymorphic item sync in there. And, whoops, trade it off with that one. And what's going to happen then is if we were to have, so now if I had 64 FPGA and I threw it into the sort, it's going to get pulled out and it's going to get deposited here. It's going to take precedence over stuff that's set to the default route, because of course the default route only comes into play when it's dealing with items that don't have another place to go. You know, that's the lowest priority setting. And so having this with a polymorphic item sync means that if I pull out a stack of FPGA and I craft, you know, and I only use maybe 8 of it, and then I send it back, it's going to go back into this modular storage, which is going to kind of offset it and make it so that it's not going to request items as quickly since it's set up that way. So we might as well have that. We may as well, because that way, you know, this stuff is, it kind of has a dedicated home. And we've got plenty of space in here. Since we're going with Mark V pipes, we have the provider module, the polymorphic item sync, and then we have 8 active supplier modules. Each of these can hold, of course, 9 different items. And so technically, and you can go over a stack. You know, I could do 200 fine gold wire and do it all in the same slot. So basically, with this setup this way, I'm going to be able to have, what, 72 different items being kept stocked into this one modular storage, which has 200 slots. Later on, we can make that 300 slots. So that's going to give us a whole lot of leeway as far as keeping things stocked, to the point of 1 or 2 modular storages probably going to be enough for us forever. So I can just add things to this that I want to keep stocked. So once we start making basic chips and advanced chips and all those good things, and probably plates and machine cases and things like that, we can just keep those stocked inside that modular storage and hopefully not have to wait on crafting too much once we get all of our automation in place for that. Because the FPGA does take a bit to run that at the moment. So, and another thing, if the raw FPGA bothers you and you don't want any leftover ever, one thing that you can do is change the recipe for the FPGA and say that the recipe says that if you take 8 raw FPGA, you make 8 FPGA. You can do that. You know, I've shown doing that with AE2 before, and you can do that with logistics pipes also. So that way you don't have any raw FPGA kind of floating around the system. So just a heads up there. I don't know that I'm going to change it, but you can if it bothers you. Okay, so we've started machine automation. Pretty straightforward, not much to it. Let's go ahead and cover crafting table automation. Once again, not super involved or anything like that. I am going to need to get a logistics crafting table. And what's nice is this doesn't pull out the items. You know, if I want to use these machines to manually craft something, that's fine. And this is not going to do anything with it. And then between episodes, over the upcoming episodes, I'm going to be doing just a lot of automation. But I'm not going to spend too much more time on camera, at least with basic stuff like this. But we got ourselves 8 logistics crafting tables. And I'm going to set these up. I actually think this room right here is where we're going to be setting up our logistics crafting tables, I believe. So let me just poke a hole in right there. And we're going to bring our unrouted transport pipes into this room. We're going to have pretty much a wall of this going on. And we're going to set these up. Now technically you could use a crafting manager for these, but if it's really worth it, no, unless you're doing filtered crafting tables. And basically what that means is setting up your crafting tables with item conduits with filters. Then you could pump all the items in and have 27 recipes, and then item conduits go through and find the specific crafting table based on a filter. I may have a lag spike. My internet's been acting up crazy tonight. I don't know what's going on. But for us, what we're going to do is we're just going to make crafting pipes. And let me get at least, let me just get 8 of these for right now. And we're going to set these up there, 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 and let's bring our unrouted transport pipes in. And I may go ahead and just bring them all the way up to the ceiling, and we'll see. Let me actually pull these off for right now until I get these 4 in the back put in. It should be easier to access them. And what we're going to do, let's click here, and we're going to say if you input 4 oakwood planks, then you are going to be the proud owner of a crafting table. There you go. And we're going to go ahead then and come over to the logistics crafting table and do that. So there's that. And then this one right here, we're going to say that if you get 4 cobblestone, 3 oak wood, a piece of redstone, and an iron ingot, you are going to be the proud owner of a piston. And this is basically so we can make logistics crafting tables easier. That way I don't have to craft these things out. So we'll go ahead and tell it the recipe here. Boom. There you go. That's how you make a piston. And if you need more slots, because of course this only gives you 6 slots to work with, but if you need more, you can use satellite pipes. We've used satellite pipes. We're going to talk more about satellite pipes later, a little bit later. I'll show whenever I get around to automating something where I need 9 slots, then I'll do it on camera just to show you. I've covered satellite pipes in prior episodes though, or prior series, I mean. So then if I come over here and I was to, let's say I want a piston, let's go ahead and just order a piston. And what's going to happen, it's going to zoom those items over. We should, we can see the items going through, and then there goes the piston back over to the request table, and there's the piston. So it's as easy as that. Setting up the crafting tables are super simple. You can use other crafters like the RF Tools crafter. I know we use that a lot in Project Ozone 2, you know, because we had a big logistics pipe system on that series. You can use that. They're a little bit expensive for my taste on here, so I'm probably going to be primarily going with just logistics crafting tables. Especially considering you don't really use crafting tables as much in this pack as others, because you're going to be using a lot of assemblers and just GregTech machines in general for a lot of your automation. So, but anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. It's a bit past at the moment. I think for this episode, I think we got a bit covered, and I'm pretty happy with where we're at. So I'm going to continue automating things and working on stuff between episodes. We'll see where things go, but Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.